Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
The movies we've been talking about were better than the movie we just saw over the weekend.
Goodness gracious.
I cannot believe how bad this movie was. And I don't even know where to begin. There were so many things wrong with this movie. And one of the generalized problems was that this forced world building, it's like where everything has to be a connected universe now. It's like, well, this is the dark universe. We're going to introduce Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll, and now we're going to make him go Mr. Hyde for no reason at all in this movie. And that's even just where to begin where this movie goes wrong. It's
Well, Penny Dreadful did that well. You know, they got all of those interwoven.
We also had
well,
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the comics.
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
there were ways that actually to do it, to put all this together properly. This was not one of them. So you also have this oh no, it's going to be great. We're going to have this homage to all these other movies that are upcoming, and we're going to put teasers and, you know, all these kind of like Easter eggs, and none of them worked. Absolutely none of them. Like the creature from the Black Lagoon's hand in a jar. All right, I got it. A vampire skull. But even just watching Russell Crowe ham it up so much to the camera, it was like, well, he's getting a lot of time. I think this is supposed to be a mummy movie, right? Why is Russell Crowe in this so much?
Why has it suddenly become a Dr. Jekyll?
Yeah, why is it yeah. And so what you have to understand, Hollywood, is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is based on decades and thousands of interconnected stories that already exist. So there's a rather large amount to pull from. You know, it's a lot different than just throwing something together that you are like, well, we got to put this together. We got to put this together. We got to make this connect, and we got to make this connect. And they don't always have to. You can make a mummy movie that's just a mummy movie. You really can.
Well, the thing that's so insane about this is
we haven't even started on Tom Cruise yet, but go ahead.
Again, so much of the blame has to go to the giant corporate studio mentality that said, we need our universe.
Right. Uh-huh.
You know, Marvel's got one, DC's trying to get one, we got to create one. And again, you bring up such a great point. The Marvel Universe, it's decades of every week. There's new Marvel comics being written. There's new, and and
they've always crossed over.
They've always crossed over, and you have new comic book fans every day going, there's a 10-year-old kid right now going in their first comic book store going, oh,
right, Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Has anyone been like giving a shit about these other than horror movie fans than Die Hard? Like, sure, I watched the Boris Karloff movies on TV as a kid on a late night, Sven got whatever. Like, okay, but are there tens of millions of people who are just like,
I want to see this interconnected again.
What?
The only thing this movie was missing was Abbott and Costello.
I know. It's like
Any movie needs Abbott.
Right.
Of course.
You can always make a movie better with Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, in this case, you're absolutely correct.
Oh my God! And just anything. This was it was like the Pirates of the Caribbean type storytelling too. It was like just random events, random rules, and if we set up a rule, we're gonna break it. Like all this. Okay, well, there's a magic dagger, but it's in two pieces. Mummies can make zombies now, and Mercury taps down the power of mummies, and like it was just one random thing after another, and then and Tom Cruise in the middle of it, playing a character that I don't even think he knew what he was playing.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like all of these actors were like, well, I'm going to give it a shot here. I'm going to do my best.
Instead of watching a movie, it was like, we talked about this before, it was just like watching people at work. Like, you know, if you watch somebody at a desk, or get your burger at a fast food place, it's like, well, that's their job. You just
bring your kids to work.
Yeah, it's really what it looked like. It just looked like, well, I'm just watching people at work. They're not really doing anything that they're passionate or care about.
And it's funny because
the real monsters in this movie are the people that made it.
They need to be put back into a crypt.
Yes.
Well, because I feel like so it was written by Christopher McQuarrie, who
one of the writers.
Well, yeah, there was a bunch of writers. You can't pin this on him at all.
No.
So
there are only 3 credited, but usually that means there's probably another 6 that weren't.
Yeah. Easy.
And it wasn't directed by Alex Kurtzman. He's real huge talent. Transformers. That's all you need to say.
Right, and so
and the Star Trek
McQuarrie
reboots.
directed.
Okay, you could say that again. you could go through a litany of horrible things he's done.
Transformers, it's a fine universe. So McQuarrie directed Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher and Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which is why the trailer made it, everyone, the joke online immediately when this trailer dropped was they were calling it Mummy Impossible.
Yes.
Like, everyone made that joke immediately because it just looks like...
If Tom Cruise could just do airplane scenes, I think he'd have a good movie. Because that's what it was, and that was the main part of the trailer, was the airplane scene.
Yeah, I can't even... I mean, we'll go into the detail in the spoiler up, the specifics of what the problems were. I was mad watching this movie. It made me mad...
Because it was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it could be fun. Like, the first Brendan Fraser movie, I thought was fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it was fun. It was. I would love to see the darker versions, Mick, that you worked on and talked about.
Yeah, well, they were horror movies,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and to decide even back then to make an action adventure like they did. Now, I haven't seen the new Mummy, and it's unlikely that I will after meeting you guys. But
That's our
saved you like
that's our goal.
Yeah, we
We're
saved you
helping-
$12.
Well, just the trailer gave me a push away from the movie theater, you know, because it's a big action adventure movie, and that's not how I like my monsters.
Right.
You know.
Well, and here's the thing: it fails as a big action adventure movie too. That's what,
Even worse.
it not only fails as a horror movie, it fails as a big action adventure movie. And you know, I'll tell you, there's something about Tom Cruise too. You know, when he does genre, it's always touch and go or hit or miss. Like when you look at like a movie like this, he was completely like he didn't even belong in this film. Well, no one belonged in this film, but specifically Tom Cruise. But also
The Mummy didn't
the
belong.
Mummy belonged in this film. But if you look at Tom Cruise's other like genre pieces, everything from Legend to you know, Interview with a Vampire, it doesn't. He just has that kind of like everything from Risky Business to the Mission Impossible movies. Like, oh, that's where I want Tom Cruise, or
This new
Born on
movie,
the 4th of July. That's where I want
American
Tom Cruise.
Made, the
American
trailer we
Made.
talk about.
Exactly. That's where I see
Cocaine
Tom Cruise
Pilot.
in this movie. But anything like I don't know what happened where Tom Cruise just said I want to do a monster movie, or just Universal threw so much money at him. It's like we need
what
you in the Mummy movie.
Universal said...
And bring your team.
Yeah, exactly. Universal said we're starting this dark universe thing.
Right.
So we're gonna just throw stacks of money at everybody.
And we're going to make sure you know it's Dark Universe. We're going to put it in the trailer.
in the trailer,
The
and,
Dark
and
Universe.
also in the opening credits.
Yeah, that'd be-
the Universal
yes.
the Universal thing rolls on the planet, you know,
Right.
Universal, and then it turns dark and it
Yeah.
goes Dark Universe.
Even Marvel doesn't do that.
Come on.
They're like, we know what you're trying to do. Stop.
So yeah, I was mad that it's moments like this where I get mad about having to do this podcast. Like
Entertainment shouldn't enrage you.
I know it shouldn't. It shouldn't, right? Again, like the first Brendan Fraser movie. I remember when that came out. It had some special effects we hadn't really seen before. I was like, okay, great. It's like you said, it's Raiders of the Lost Mummy.
Yes.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was
It was fun. It was campy. It knew what it was.
go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we talk about with Wonder Woman or Guardians of the Galaxy or
Right.
whatever. They're fun movies. Maybe they try to make some points or some social commentary, which is great. But ultimately,
They're fun and they're well put together with some love and passion.
you got some 2 hours of escapism. That's what we've all
Right.
ever wanted since the time we were kids to go to the movie theater and get. When I'm
Yes.
sitting there mad, and I was in comfortable seats. I was in a reclining
Oh
chair.
my God, you were at the food
I
theater?
didn't go to the food theater,
Okay.
but I know Amy Miller's going to get mad at this. I did sneak in my hippie food into the theater because I can't eat a cheese pizza. So I am in this comfortable chair because there's some theaters near me where they have the reclining seats that they don't have a full menu, but they have really nice,
Right.
comfortable seats. So I'm like, well, then I'll enjoy this. And
Yeah.
I was just getting so mad and annoyed, and I was like, I could be.
Did you find as the angrier you got, the higher you put the seat up? Like you
No, I
stopped
put it lower. I
reclining?
was like, I hope I fall asleep. I was like, well, at least I could get a comfortable nap in.
But it was too bombastic for that.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I'm sitting there going, I could see, I think it's in theaters, that movie, The Hero with Sam Elliott. You know, that I've seen the trailer for that movie, and I'm sure it's getting a limited release or whatever. And I was like, God, I wish I was supporting that film.
Right. And
You know?
I mean, even when you start off with this movie, like Tom Cruise, that like the writers don't even know what his character or job is. Like, all right, well, wait, you're a scout. Wait, you're a soldier. You're special operations. Wait, you're a treasure hunter. Wait, you're a thief. Like, what? Okay. Can you pick one? Can you just
any of them?
Yeah. What exactly are you doing? And my favorite part of the movie, though, this is not a spoiler, though, was that they make a big deal of getting these antiquities out of these war zones where these are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So clearly, when they find the sarcophagus, this is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So when the plane crashes, which is in the trailer, there's two guys with flashlights looking for it. Really? Hundreds of millions of dollars in antiquities. There's two guys with flashlights looking for it. That would have been like the Thor hammer with S.H.I.E.L.D. just, creating this entire thing, looking for this thing that was worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
It can't even.
So, I mean, and like there's moments like that every 5 minutes in this film where it just like, really? And we'll go into it more in the spoiler, especially the ending, which had me laughing out loud.
Yeah.
Out loud.
I think I yelled, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
Like I think, and then these high school kids laughed.
Yeah.
All right.
The film's tagline, "Welcome to the New World of Gods and Monsters," is a quote from Bride of Frankenstein, 1935, which was also produced by Universal. And they have all of these next films in the pipeline, Bride of Frankenstein. And Mick, I'm sure you're aware of like what's in the pipeline for Dark Universe.
Bride of Frankenstein is being made by Bill Condon, who did Gods and Monsters with Clive. Mm-hmm. And he has such a love and respect for. I worked with him. I brought him in on a TV show I was one of the producers of called The Others, which you probably don't remember. But
so this might be Dark Universe's Wonder Woman.
I have hope. This could actually, because maybe it'll actually be a gothic horror film.
Right.
This is a guy who respects those roots, and obviously having touched on Bride of Frankenstein in Gods and Monsters, in depicting James Whale and all of that, that's about making Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
And so that's the kind of Dark Universe movie I want to see. Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling it's going to be gigantic. And, to me personally, the bigger the budget of a movie, kind of the less interested I am in it.
Well, for horror, for sure, that's been
definitely for horror.
That's definitely been the trend. The most interesting things